When there's something strange in your neighborhood, who you gonna call? Ghostbusters! When there's something weird and it don't look good, who you gonna call? Ghostbusters!
Hello and welcome to Disney Movie Investigations bonus episode. So this is our bonus series that looks at the different variety of children's programming throughout the 80s and 90s. And this is our episode on the Real Ghostbusters. So for those of you that have never seen our videos before, what these are is we take a deep dive into the world of usually a Disney movie, but this week we're doing our bonus series, which is taking a deep dive into one of the children's television shows that we all grew up with in the 80s and 90s. And we take a look at how it got made, what kind of some fun facts along the way, as well as its legacy in the world today. So today we are looking at The Real Ghostbusters, which was originally released on September 13th, 1986, and ran until October 5th, 1991. And it premiered on ABC, but it also was aired on the USA Network as well as YTV here in Canada. And it is based on the film Ghostbusters, the 1980s comedy, and it had 140 episodes. So The Real Ghostbusters was produced by Columbia Pictures Television, and DICE Enterprises, and it was distributed by Coca-Cola Telecommunications. And the premise of the show is that it follows the adventures of paranormal investigators Dr. Peter Venkman, Dr. Egon Spengler, Ray Stantz, and Winston Zeddemore, and their secretary Janine Meltz, and their mascot ghost Slimer. So just a bit of trivia, the Real tag was added to the title after a dispute with Filmation, who had their own Ghostbusters series. And so to differentiate the two, they added the Real Ghostbusters in front of the title. So there is a little bit of differences from the film. The character designs of the main characters were altered to avoid paying likeness rights to the four actors in the film. So you'll notice that Peter Venkman is the one that closest resembles Bill Murray, but the rest of them were altered in color, in design, like hair color. Like if you look at Egon, he's the most radical change. Like he is now blonde, and he's a little bit different skin tone and stuff like that. And it's funny, they didn't want any kind of likeness to the movie. They wanted their own product. So Ernie Hudson, who was Winston Zeddemore in the film, actually auditioned to be the voice of Winston Zeddemore in the cartoon, but he didn't get the role. It actually went to Arsenio Hall. So kind of an interesting note of trivia there. So each character in the television series was given a different colored jumpsuit in order to help distinguish who each character was. And yeah, and then let's take a look at the voice cast. So Lorenzo Music, who played Peter Venkman in seasons 1 and 2, you may recognize him. He was the voice of Garfield. And then Dave Coulier, for you Full House fans, he did the voice of Peter Venkman for seasons 3 through 7. Maurice LaMarche was the voice of Egon Spengler. You may recognize him. He is the Brain in Pinky and the Brain. Frank Welker was Ray Stantz, and as well as Slimer. Arsenio Hall, like we said, was Winston Zeddemore for seasons 1 through 3. Buster Jones took over the role of Winston Zeddemore for seasons 4 through 7. And then we have Laura Sumner, who was Janine Meltz through seasons 1 through 2. And Kathy Susi, who was Janine Meltz seasons 3 through 7. So that's, the series, each episode would be structured where the Ghostbusters would be hunting down a different ghost in a different location. One of the more memorable episodes is they actually go to Hollywood where they're filming the Ghostbusters movie, and they fight a ghost on the Ghostbusters set. So it's quite interesting. And then a little bit of kind of hidden Easter egg is that at the end of the movie, they show not any of the actors, but they show brief clips from the movie as the Ghostbusters are watching the movie about themselves. So it's kind of a fun episode. And then so I'm just going to go over a little bit of trivia notes about the series. So in the third season, the character designs were modified a little bit. So Ray was slimmed down and given kind of a slimmer look. There was complaints that he looked too overweight. Slimer was given a tail. And Janine's hair was changed to have a straight long hair as opposed to having spiky hairs, and that was to reflect the change in the Ghostbusters 2 movie where she had a different haircut. In season 4, the series was renamed to center around Slimer. So it was renamed Slimer and the Real Ghostbusters. And the show was originally a half hour, but it was expanded to 1 hour, where the first half hour would be a Real Ghostbusters episode, and then the second half hour would be 2 to 3 Slimer shorts. So it'd be short stories involving Slimer. So this show was highly successful, given that, like, that's pretty obvious with the length of time that it was on the air. So it did have two ongoing comic series. Now comics publish monthly comics in the United States, and then Marvel Comics published weekly comics in the UK, both fairly popular. Kenner, who produced the Star Wars toys, actually created a line of action figures and play sets featuring the Real Ghostbusters. Like, I remember as a kid having some of the figures, and then my friend actually had the firehouse, which was cool. And then you could also get like costume pieces. Like, I remember as a kid having the trap and the proton pack that you could squeeze, and if you squeezed it, it made like kind of a motor sound as it played. So these were very popular toys. I remember when I was a kid. There was actually a CD soundtrack called The Real Ghostbusters, and it was released in 1986, and it was actually on CD, records, and cassette. And then all the songs on this soundtrack were performed by a band called Tahiti. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. But yeah, they did all the songs. And then Sony did release these on DVDs, containing 5 DVDs with each having between 11 and 12 episodes and on each disc. And they chronicle kind of the whole series. So in terms of final thoughts, this was a great show with a mix of action, spooky adventures, and comedy. There's a lot of comedy, especially involving Slimer and Venkman. And then I just want to go over one more memorable episode, being that it's Christmas time, or just after Christmas. And one of the episodes that I watched was called Xmas Marks the Spot. And this actually had the Ghostbusters accidentally capturing the ghost of Christmas Past, Christmas Present, and Christmas Future from A Christmas Carol. And then they put them in the containment unit. And then they have to fly. Egon has to go into the containment unit and get the ghost back, because they've found that they've altered history with the ghosts not being there. Scrooge is kind of taken over the world, and everyone doesn't celebrate Christmas. So in the meantime, they go back in time to kind of fix their mistake, and they have to Venkman, Zedmore, and Ray have to fill in for the ghosts while Egon retrieves them. It leads to quite funny scenes. I believe it's on YouTube if you don't want to buy the DVDs, but I highly recommend it. It's quite funny as well. So, that's the Real Ghostbusters. It's one of the memorable cartoons from the 80s. It's one of the most popular ones too, going on for at least 7 seasons. So, really recommend, if you get a chance, check these out on YouTube. They are quite, they're quite the build for nostalgia, as well as I think they still hold up to this day. So I thought I would share those with you. And then in terms of our artifact, I haven't done this in a while because I haven't had artifacts from the films that we've done, but I thought I would share this one. This is a Egon magnet that I got at Calgary Comic-Con. And this is kind of the design for the Egon, and they were selling these in order to support Make-A-Wish Foundation. So I thought I would share those with you. Okay. So in our next of these ongoing cartoon series, we are going to be checking out the Yogi Bear show. And this was actually a suggestion from one of our members, Ashley. So thank you, Ashley. And we will check out the Yogi Bear show on the next episode. All right. I hope you guys are having a great day. Bye.